So, hello everyone. This is Arif Hussain, a former homeopathy consultant from Kerala. So, today I thought of giving you a few updates on COVID plus homeopathy. So, we have been doing many online videos. So, most of them were in Malayalam. So, I was receiving a lot of requests from all over the country, especially my North Indian friends, that they are not able to follow all of that. So I decided to do this in English, and thanks to my non-Malayali friends for asking me to do this. So today we are focusing mainly on 5 points, so I shall just mention that at first. First one is regarding the arsenic album failure. Okay, so we know what ourselves is, and we have seen that it's a failure. So let's discuss a little about that. Then we have the second one, the Bajaj Shankaran failure. That's the second one. Then the third one is the Light a Lamp campaign, which is being announced, which is to be done this Sunday. Then the fourth one is a message to Dr. Manoj Kuriakose from Hyderabad. He's a Malayali doctor, and he's practicing there, and a short message to him. Then the fifth point is a short news from Hungary. It's a bad news for homeopathic community. So these are the 5 points which we are trying to do this in this video. Okay, so let's get into it without much delay. So now we know that Arsal 30C, what it is, how is it used, where is it used, and all those aspects which we were discussing all over the country since last few months, a couple of months. So if we go back to the timeline when this was getting announced and how it was getting influenced by the people in homeopathy, by the celebrities and all over the country, how it is being used, we know how it was done. But still, let's go back to the timeline. So let's go to the date, 29th January 2020. So that was the day when the Central Council for Research in Homeopathy, they announced the prophylactic for coronavirus disease. At that time it was known in that name. Later on it was modified into COVID-19. So the medicine, this prophylactic medicine, arsenic album, was announced on that day. It was done by the Ayush Ministry and CCRH together. Then we must note the fact that the first COVID case in India that was reported on 30th January 2020. That is, even before a single case was reported in our country, this prophylactic was announced and it was getting popularized. And the most funniest part is that this new case that was reported in our country, that was from Kerala. Then we saw a little confusion and some commotion regarding whether it should be used as a prophylactic or should be used as a immune booster. So that was the confusion going on. And later on, the CCRH, the Central Council for Research in Homeopathy, uh, they came to a conclusion that arsenic album 30C is no more a prophylactic, it's rather a immune booster. So the label was changed. So I don't know whether the medicine knew about this change or the coronavirus knew about this change. Anyway, the label was changed. The medicine was the same. So you must imagine, if we are announcing a medicine or a vaccine first as a prophylactic and later on we are naming it as an immune booster, is that a simple change or is that a simple issue? I don't think so. Anyway, that was the thing that was done at the first instance of getting it announced. And later on, it was widely used. Even in our state, it was widely used. It was getting distributed all over the country. Even some other medicines too were used. Some medicines were even getting sprayed onto the streets, onto the hospital premises, and all over the country, especially in northern states, that was happening. And one medicine known for that was sepia. So that was the situation that was going on in our country. And today, if you go to the number of cases that we are seeing today, as of now, we have 8 lakh cases in India. Okay, 8 lakh cases of Covid-19, close to somewhere around 8 lakh. And the number of death is 21,600 cases. So the death rate in India is 2.6%. And if you come to Maharashtra, the leading state which has the most number of cases, the number of cases there is 2,25,000 cases in a single state, and the death rate there is 4.2%, much higher than the Indian death rate. Then we have the Kerala data. Here the total number of cases is 6,534 as of today, and the death rate is 0.3%. So when we compare these three numbers, we can see that in Maharashtra we have more than 50 homeopathic medical colleges. More than 50, I don't know the exact number, but it's close to 55 or 57. I don't remember the exact number, but it's more than 50. So just imagine the amount of human resource available there to just implement this Arsal 30 distribution and the data collection and all such activities. So if you look at the data from Maharashtra, we can come to the conclusion that it was not working there. Arsal is a failure there. If you look at the all India data, it's also well evident that it's a failure in an all India picture. And if you come to Kerala, that's the only place where you can claim that Arsal could have worked in a state in India. That's just Kerala. But if you look at the data here, only one district in Kerala, that is Pathanamthitta district. That's the only district in India, in Kerala, which is not seeing any community spread or that level of cases in Kerala. So the funniest part is that now the homeopaths here, they have started claiming that Arsal is working in Pathanamthitta. So to them, what I have to say is just one aspect, that is Pathanamthitta district is the one among the least densely populated district in Kerala. That is close to around 450. So if you go to Trivandrum or to some other states, it's above 1,000. So Pathanamthitta is one of the least densely populated district, and also it's a land district and it's not directly connected to other states in India, that is Tamil Nadu. So there's no direct connectivity with accessibility with Tamil Nadu. So today the Minister for Health in Kerala, she had told that the new place which we are talking about, that is Pundura, Pundura in Trivandrum, the number of cases were seen rising there, and that the main reason for that was due to the migrant workers coming and going from that place. So the one among the criteria for such a widespread coronavirus infection is the movement of population and the population density. So in this case, in Kerala, we can see that Arsal is not working. What is working here is the social containment, the epidemiological strategies which we are employing here, which we have implemented here. That's what's going on here. So as a conclusion to this point, this first point regarding the failure of Arsal is this. The announcement of Arsal 30 was a thoughtless announcement. It was a bad idea, first of all. And the second, that is, the present data shows that it's an utter failure. It has not worked anywhere in the country. And the third point is that this shows the whole thing, that is the getting it announced and getting it properly, not properly distributing it. There's no data to back up its efficacy. The whole thing shows that the Ayush Ministry and the CCRH, it is totally incompetent to deal with such a dreaded disease or a global emergency, a pandemic like COVID-19. So in the future, let's not bring all these guys into the play and spoil the game. So that's the first thing. Now, moving to the second point, that is the Bajaj Shankaran failure. So, this again is from the state of Maharashtra. So, after this pandemic that was getting announced, pandemic was getting announced by the WHO, and people were looking for the medicines, preventives, prophylactics, and immune boosters. One guy from Maharashtra, that is the Rajiv Bajaj, the owner of the Bajaj company, he came forward. He was a lover of homeopathy, and he was supported by one among the gurus in homeopathy, that is Dr. Rajan Shankaran. So both of them tried to popularize or proselytize homeopathy, and they were claiming that just herd immunity and homeopathy, only these two things are required. There's no need of social distancing or those kind of lockdown or any those kind of measures. So they were claiming that only herd immunity and homeopathy or a strong immunity that is required to combat this pandemic. That was their claim. And now the picture is this. In their Aurangabad plant, there are around 300 cases there and close to 8 deaths happening in their plant alone in Aurangabad. And the death rate there is 2.6%. So now just imagine what's going on there. They were claiming that homeopathy was very effective, and they were claiming that it's more than enough to manage their workers, and they were so confident about it, the arsa, and that's what something else that which I have to tell you. They were not using the Arsal 30. They were using a new medicine called Camphor Vanam. That's another medicine. So they were using this medicine. So since Arsal was an immune booster, they came up with a new idea, that is Camphor Vanam, which is a prophylactic. So they were claiming that that is going to prevent coronavirus. That's what they were claiming. And now what happened was, this whole thing is a failure. Now people are starting to die there. The number of cases are increasing, and now they are facing a situation where their plant is going to be closed for a while. So that's the situation there. So now the final verdict, when comparing both this Bajaj Shankaran issue and the Arsal issue, two things could be learned from this. On a larger canvas, Arsal getting used as an immune booster on a national level, that was a failure. And on a smaller canvas, this Camphor Vanam, which could have been well utilized as a situation to prove homeopathy, they miserably failed in it. Now again, that's getting noted, and more people are getting affected, and people are dying there. So these two failures simply point out a single thing, that is homeopathy is ineffective in either of these conditions. So as a prophylactic or as an immune booster, homeopathy is a failure. So, and this is just another reason to say that homeopathy is just plain water. Now moving on to the third point, that is the Light a Lamp campaign. So you might have seen the poster which I posted here a while ago. And this was scheduled to be held on this Sunday, and it's being done by Homeopathy Lovers Forum. It's a national body, I think. They are planning to do a big campaign, and their aim is to enlighten our leaders and rulers to support homeopathy for treatment and prevention of COVID-19. That's their motto written in that poster itself. So actually, if you look back to this COVID season, which we are having since last couple of months, we are seeing many fun shows, and this one should be the latest one, I should say that way, because we are used to lighting these candles, torch, and our mobile phones. Now this is another opportunity to do a light show. So now, if you look at the way they are claiming or they are asking to do this, their reason for doing this is to become a lover of homeopathy. So they want the leaders and other rulers to love homeopathy by seeing the support from the doctors and the patients, all of these people lighting the candle, and they need to come forward. That's what they are aiming to happen. But the reality is, I think they should look at Rajiv Bajaj. We just mentioned about him just now. So he's the latest lover of homeopathy, and now he is heartbroken, sitting there in a corner, fighting with the workers' union in his plant, whether to close down his plant or to cut short their leaves and their payments and everything like that. And they are in a quarrel that's going on there. People are dying there. So, coming back to our point, evidence-based medicine. That's what we see here, which is most important. It's not just the fairy tales or the testimonial hangama that is going to play in a situation like this, in a worldwide pandemic or an emergency situation like this. It's not the hangama testimonials that's going to play. We want data, and that's the only thing, that is the backbone of evidence-based medicine, is epidemiology and probability. Without that, we cannot plan anything. Without that, we cannot implement anything. Without that, we cannot foresee any future outcome and plan accordingly. That's not going to happen with this kind of fairy tales and testimonials. So what we need is this data. So since this Rajiv Bajaj and all these Light the Lamp campaign people behind that, they are not focused on this evidence-based. They don't know how it is going to work. Simply, they are trying to do some gimmicks in the name of homeopathy, and they are trying to solve a scientific problem with a democratic solution. Homeopathy is facing a scientific problem. It's not a democratic problem. We cannot solve it using these kind of light shows or processions or signature campaigns. We cannot do that. So these people are they are misguided, I should say. So what we need right now is scientific problem require a scientific solution and not a democratic gimmicks like this. So we must note at this point that if our governments decided to go with these kind of gimmicks, these kind of light shows and these kind of people claiming with these testimonials, just imagine what would be our situation today. And I should congratulate the government of Kerala for deciding to go by the scientific protocols. They are strictly binding to that, and that's the only reason why we are seeing less number of cases and less number of deaths here. The death rate in Kerala today is close to 0.3%. So it's just pure science and evidence-based medicine, evidence-based practices that is working here, nothing else, nothing more than that. So that's the main point which I would like to emphasize here. So I should say that either Ayush department, Ayush ministry should learn from science people how this could be done and how to manage all these kind of things, instead of trying to focus on following all these charlatans. Now the fourth point is a message to Dr. Manoj Kuriakose. Already I have given a message in Malayalam. So he's a Malayali doctor practicing in Hyderabad. I think he sent me a voice, he was sending out a voice message in Malayalam. So I was responding to that. But yesterday I came to know about a video, YouTube video also. That's why I'm just including this in this video. So first of all, I should thank him for accepting the reality of self-limiting diseases. Because he was telling in that video that 80% of COVID cases will go by itself. It's a self-limiting condition. That's what he was telling them. So that's a revolutionary acceptance or a move by a homeopath, I should say. Because whenever the critics of homeopathy were telling the homeopathy community that most of the diseases which we are facing are self-limiting, none of the homeopathic doctors would accept it. But today, he has come forward to accept this, that COVID-19 is a self-limiting condition. 80% of the cases would subside by itself. Even a positive case would become negative by its own. That's what he was telling in that video. So first of all, I should thank him for that. Now, secondly, a few wrong points were made by him. That's what I wish to emphasize on. That is, he was telling in that video that increasing immunity in old age. That's the reason why the old age people need not worry about COVID-19, because he was telling that the old people in his 30 years of experience, he was seeing less number of people of old age coming to his clinic with cough, cold, and all that, all these kind of seasonal complaints. So he was telling that that's simply because they were having a high immunity level. So I should say that that was a wrong idea, wrong interpretation. Mainly because old age is a situation, or is a time in our life where the immunity is getting down. It is not increasing. It is getting down, or it is getting depleted, mainly because of the reduction in the resources required for an optimal immune level. So the reserves for maintaining an optimal immune level is getting reduced in old age. So that's the reason why the old age people are getting their immunity low. So he was totally wrong in assessing that situation. Now he was telling that old age people are not in danger. So if somebody says that, or if he was telling that, in the media we are seeing that people are asked to sit at home. The old age people are, oldies are asked to sit at home because they need to be careful. They should be confined to their home, self-quarantined, and all such things. So he was telling that that's not at all required. It's a wrong idea, he was telling. So I should say him that I'm telling him that if you look at the data from Kerala, Kerala is the number one state in India with the highest number of old age, the percentage of people with old age. That is almost 12% of Kerala population are above 60. So if his idea is getting implemented, or if it was followed by the oldies in our state, just imagine the amount of trouble that which we will be in. So we know the move taken by the Kerala government, that is reverse quarantine, that was taken, the first state to be taken, first state to take that measure to contain this the problem was Kerala, and it is mainly done to confine the oldies who are above 60 and who are having some other conditions, comorbidities. So this is called reverse quarantine, and that's the situation which we are into. And he was telling that that's not required. So, and then finally he was telling that all these things as a immunity will take care of everything. That's what he was claiming, and we have seen how immunity worked in the Bajaj plant, and how our salve increased our immunity. We have seen already. So herd immunity is not going to play in a country like India. So that's a bad idea. I should say that way. So now the final message to Dr. Manoj is that please don't disseminate these kind of false information. That's the only request to you. And if ever you are trying to do this, or if you are not able to control yourself from doing this, the only request is to please say that you are a homeopathic doctor at the beginning itself, so that the people can take the necessary precautions while listening to your audio. That's the only request which I am able to make now. So that's it. So I expect you, Dr. Manoj Kuriakos, that you will be cautious while making a next audio clip or a YouTube video with this kind of information. Please be well informed. Please don't disseminate false information. That's the only request. Okay. Now coming to the final point, that is a bad news from Hungary. When I was studying BHMS in my college by 2009. What my teachers used to tell me was that homeopathy is flourishing in the West, especially in the European countries. So that was the rhetoric which was so common in our college. All over the country, it was the same thing told everywhere. Even in the seminars and in all the symposiums which we organize every month or the other, this was the main rhetoric which we use. We used to invite some Westerners to our country, and they will be saying that okay, everything is fine in their country. So after 2010, I happened to look for what's going on there, and what I have seen is after 2010, a lot of countries which was having this homeopathy as one of their prominent treatment option in their countries, which was supported by their national insurance or national health care. It was getting removed from homeopathy. So recently what happened was, from Britain, the NHS support was stopped in 2016, and in Switzerland it was getting removed by 2017, and they are yet to finalize it in 2020 or so. And in France they are going to rip it off from 2021. Now we have the final news that's coming from Hungary, that is, homeopathic drugs can no longer be marketed as medicinal products in Hungary. That's a very important blow to homeopathy, because we know in our country we call homeopathy medicine. So just imagine if you are not able to call homeopathic medicine as a medicine. It's just a pill, or it's just a nutritional supplement, or it's some kind of product which is available from your local store. It's no more a medicine. So getting marketed as a medicine and getting used as a medicine is very important when you deal with the medicine. But for homeopathy, that is not, that is over. That dream is getting over. So this news is from 5th of July 2020, and this, I should say that the academicians should take this into their special notice, because when you are teaching your children, your students next day, please tell this to them, that one more country has moved against homeopathy, that is Hungary. So let's stop this rhetoric that homeopathy is flourishing in the West. And the most funniest part is that if you go to the European country or to the West and you are listening to the people talking there, what you will hear will be this, that is, you should look into Kerala, or you should look into India, where homeopathy is flourishing there. So we must bring homeopathy in our country, just like homeopathy is in India. That's what they are telling. So that's the rhetoric happening in Western countries. So if you go to UK or to Canada, you'll be hearing that. You look at India, we must bring homeopathy like in India. That's what they are telling. And if you come to India, we will be saying, look to the West, we should learn from them. We should make homeopathy as popular as it is in Europe. That's what we are telling. So now you can decide where it is actually flourishing. It's not flourishing anywhere. It is getting removed of the national insurance schemes. It is not getting banned. You must note that it's not getting banned. It's not going to be banned from anywhere, because it will be available as long as people are ready to take it. But the real problem is, it is getting removed from the national support. The public money is not going to be used for this kind of treatments, especially homeopathy, and the other one is acupuncture and some other kind of treatments. So a government which is more focused on their public money, the health of their citizen, they will take such rules, they will make such rules, and they will take such steps to ensure the optimal usage. And it's not happening in our country, and I hope that will happen somewhere soon in the future. Anyway, it's time to end this rhetoric that homeopathy is flourishing in the West. And if ever any of the homeopathy doctors who are going to the Western countries, please don't come with the old stories that you have seen a clinic there, or you have seen a number of pharmacies in one street. Don't come with such kind of stories, because we even if you look into that street, you may even find these zodiac, that kind of astrologers, and such kind of occult practices. Everything is there, available there, that's all. So homeopathy, if it's a legitimate practice, if it's a legitimate medicine, it should be available as a medicine, not as a nutritional substitute, or something which you can use as a hobby medicine. It's not the truth. So let's be clear about what you are telling. Okay, so this is the reality. These are the 5 points which I wanted you to know. So I think it's almost done. So let me go through the questions. So one doctor, Anam, is asking, why don't you come up with preventive medicine? Preventive medicine, the actual term is prophylactic. Prophylactic, for a prophylactic, we need a lot of studies, we need a lot of research backup, we need data. Without that, we cannot come up with any random medicine and claim with just claiming that it is a prophylactic. We cannot make it a prophylactic. We need data. Without that, we cannot do anything. So unfortunately, we are trying for a prophylactic in the form of a vaccine. That's what is going on right now. So in the next couple of months, we are expecting that to come out. So that's how we work for a preventive. I'm not boasting about Kerala. It's not boasting about Kerala. We are just using the data to compare. Okay, so if you look at the whole picture, you can just Google, you can just give a Google search, and you can take out the data, and you can simply find out that you can easily find out that how differentiating or how much contrast is there between the data from a small state and a larger picture of India. Because in our country, the first case that was coming from Kerala, but you must if you go to the data now, even today the number of cases is 6,000. It's below 10,000. Maybe it can come near to maybe 1 lakh, but at that time, what would be the total number of the whole country? That's what we need to look about. So it's not about boasting, it's not about bragging about Kerala. We are comparing the data, and unfortunately, even I have that feeling when I say something, I'm boasting about Kerala. It's not about that. But unfortunately, we don't have any other data to compare. So if another state, maybe if it was Karnataka, I would have used the same data. But unfortunately, we don't have that. That's the only problem. It's not about boasting. And has the so-called immune booster in homeopathy proved to be effective? It was not effective, and not only that, that question itself is invalid, I should say, because the idea of immune boosting, that itself is wrong. Then only comes whether it was effective as an immune booster. So the idea itself is wrong, so there is no question about whether it was effective immune booster or not. So I disqualify that question. Will the government ever understand that this so-called immune booster is a failure? Uh, I don't think so, because Ayush Ministry is it's a government body. So one government trying to criticize another government body, it's not going to happen in our country, especially in a situation like this, which we are saying a lot of things like we are going away from away from a democratic country. We are becoming more of a authoritarian country like that. So in that situation, it's very difficult that we can expect such a move, criticizing one ministry by another ministry. That's not going to happen. But we can speak with data. We can prove that it was not working. So when the next epidemic comes, let's not happen, but let's hope that that won't happen. But in that situation, they can take a little more learned opinion, learned approach regarding how to manage this. In that case, even today we know, since we were facing Nipah virus infection, this time at the beginning itself, the minister was telling that, okay, we are not going towards Ayush medicines. Again, that's from Kerala. It's not boasting. So that's what going on here. The minister came up with this proclamation in the beginning itself. So that's what happening here. So we cannot say that anyway this ministry is going to realize, or it's going to criticize the Irish ministry. That's not going to happen. Okay, so the questions are over. So I think it's done. And thanks to all my friends here for watching, for spending time with me. And I wish everyone a very safe situation in your homes, because we are facing another wave of COVID-19 infection the rates are going higher. So we need to be careful, because the only medicine right now we have is the social distancing measures, the epidemiological measures. So let's be careful. So let's stay safe, stay healthy, and let's break the chain together. Okay, thank you so much.